What's up, everybody? I'm back with another shop update. There's been a lot going on these last couple of weeks, so I've gotten a little behind, but I'm going to take you around, show you what's been going on, show you knives I've been working on. A couple got sent out. I have some here, one that's just finished today that I'm going to get sent out, as well as a couple of builds that are ready for Noki. Noki, the New Orleans Custom Knife Invitational, is only 5 weeks away, so I've got some more builds to get ready. I've got some stuff prepped I'll show, as well as some new equipment, new to me equipment anyway. I went to South Carolina, as I'd mentioned, to pick up some stuff from my buddy Will Adkins, who was getting out of knife making, and so made the trip out there, got some stuff, had a little accident with one of the machines, so I'll show you all that, tell you all what's going on. So let's flip the camera around and we'll jump into it. All right, let's get into these knives real quick. Micro Warthog, bronzed and barked frames, full titanium frame lock, Zerk accents, and this one has some black lip mother of pearl underlays and really pops with these nice satin chamfers on here. CPM 154 for the blade, belt satin, double hollow grind. Main bevel is 12-inch hollow, and then the 2-inch hollow for the swedge. Probably one of my favorite grinds that I do. I just love how it looks. So next, CPM 154 as well on this Warthog. This is a liner lock, and this one is a OD green and black camo quartz. Fairly new offering from Camo Quartz / Camo Carbon. This one has Zerk accents as well, and really excited for people to see this one. That one's headed to Noki with me in 5 weeks. This one will be headed to Noki as well. Black and red glass micarta with fully textured frames, both sides. Another CPM 154 belt satin and Zerk accents. If you can't tell, I really like Zerk accents. This one will be at Noki, like I said. So excited for y'all to check that one out as well. And then lastly, this is my personal micro, and I have this here because it's a test piece that I use for what I'm calling the fiver pivot. And I think it's kind of funny because now I have the fiver driver. And so obviously this is to take apart this knife. The pivots have no torque screw in them. All the other ones have T15 Torx in the center. And just like all of these, they're machined out of tie connector blank pivots. So I'm gonna do all the machining myself here other than the actual, the body and the threads. So works really well, really happy with it. These were both tests just to make sure everything worked as it should. Make sure I'm not dragging this outer wall with the tool when I'm opening it or unscrewing it or assembling it, especially if I have any higher end collars like I just did a mini Warthog with. It was black lip mother of pearl inlaid bolsters. So anything fancy like that, I wanted to make sure the sidewalls here cleared and didn't scrape or rub on anything. So here's the knives that I've been working on, mainly these three, as well as a mini that's already been sent out, and another mini Warthog that's been sent out to a customer. And so now I will get into showing everybody what else I'm working on for Noki, as well as just other stuff going on in the shop. So this is going to be one of the auction builds for the New Orleans show for Noki. I do have to remake some parts on this, unfortunately. The profile of these, this is too thin, and when everything was starting to be contoured, it offset the way the clip sits. And so because of that, this really isn't usable. I'm not going to be happy with the look of it, so this is all scrap. I've got some new carbo tie in, and this will be machined into the frames, and I'm waiting on some titanium to get back from Waterjet to redo the liners, because all the liners I have the wrong drawing for the profiles, and so I'm having to get all that recut. The blade and the bolsters which these have already been heat treated, as well as the blade, which has been surface ground. These are Fire Clone 2 from Mike Norris. So I think this is going to be a really, really cool setup. Something like this I've not done before with the steel bolsters like that, inlaid steel bolsters, I should say. And then all of these are black Damascus smaller inlays, which will all be screwed in from the back. And then the back spacer and clip will be black Damascus as well. So really excited to get this one set up and going once I get the liners in and I can finish it. So let's get into these builds. So all these will be for Noki. This is another liner lock, Micro Warthog, Norris Hybrid Damascus, and I haven't decided on the liners, or I'm sorry, on the scales yet for that build. I was going to use these, but as I had shown in one of my last videos, I changed the profile, and since this inlay here follows the profile, it's not going to look right. So these probably won't be usable unless I decide to use the old profile, but honestly, I doubt I'll ever do that. Fire Clone 2 for a Micro Warthog, and some tie frames, slots, and micro milling on the contours. Most likely this one will have some black Damascus for the accents. And then a Hornet's Nest from Mike Norris, Hornet's Nest Falke blade, and some fully micro milled frames for this one. Not sure on the accents on this one yet. And finally got a bunch of titanium cut yesterday for more Jaeger bars. These are all in Op 1 stage right now, which is cutting the whole top features and everything, and then they'll get flipped over for the bottom side. I've got 10, 12 of these cut already, and then I'll start finishing them out as I can get some more machined. I'm trying to machine all of the operations, or all of the titanium for each operation at once. So I'll do all of them in Op 1, then I'll flip them over, do Op 2, and then do all the hand finishing and slowly start offering those up again. And while I've been waiting on the titanium, I've been working on a bunch of inlays. So I've got some Brittany Blue camo quartz. I have some textured technocarbon. The Brittany is obviously textured as well. I have some non-textured side cut carbon fiber, and then some more rich light that has been textured, the Blue Canyon, and some red, white, and blue camo carbon, non-textured as well. And I believe down in there is some OD green. Yep, some OD green, and maybe some natural micarta was buried down in there too that I ran as well. So got a bunch of inlays. I think I have more inlays than I have for titanium, but since the machine wasn't running the other day, or the other days, I was able to get all those inlays done. So now let's get on to what is going on around the shop with the machines. So let's get into the surface grinder and what happened with it. So as we were loading it, we ended up dropping it, and the entire thing fell forward on the front side of it. So this handle's been taken off, the screw's been taken out. This handle has a crack in it, it's still usable. The knobs broke off both the handles. The table came off, which I believe the table isn't going to be a big deal. It'll sit back on here. I'll get the rollers in. Then there's a band that wraps around this and attaches to both ends of the table. And when you spin the wheel, that band makes a rotation around it and moves the table. So the biggest issue was when this fell, all the weight of this head, because this head slides on these ways here, which they're essentially tracks. So here and here, this is a V-notch, which keeps it in alignment, and then that one's flat. And so what happened was all the weight went into the screw for the Y-axis that runs from here all the way to the back. And obviously when that happened, the screw got bent. So I don't have the screw here right now. It's at a local machine shop getting hopefully straightened. The owner thinks he can straighten it. And then on my cart over here is the rest of all the parts. And one really cool thing about this is, let me zoom in a little bit for you. These are micarta. I wouldn't call them I guess like a roller cage. I wouldn't, since they're not bearings, it'd be like a roller cage capture. And this just keeps the rollers from getting all wonky on the table and spread out or out of alignment and stuff. And so this is the first time I've actually seen a piece of micarta in use for a purpose other than me buying a chunk of it to cut up and make knife handles out of. And so I don't think it's a big deal that it broke. It should be just fine. It's just going to keep the rollers inside each one of those squares. And so that's all got to get cleaned up. All the rollers, they're all nasty and dirty. I got to get that back together. And then all the pieces for everything else on the machine. And so, not sure if I mentioned it before, the plan for this one is to have the stone set up. This will not have a stone on it now. It will actually get a contact wheel similar to what's on the grinders, and I'm gonna convert this to run belts. So this whole piece will come off, the shroud will come off, and then instead of having the wheel on here, the spindle will have, or having the stone on here, it'll have the contact wheel. And then it'll be able to use belts, and I'll be able to use this for surface grinding versus only the stone. And it works well from what I've seen, and it helps just with speed of removing more material at a faster rate. So really excited, kind of bummed we had the issue, but once this is all fixed, I get the conversion done, then we will roll it in here in the shop, in the grinding room, and this is where its home will be, right there. And then the grinder is most likely going to get put in line here. I'll rework all the benches, and that's kind of an empty spot, and I've got to just kind of rearrange this whole area to be able to fit that fourth grinder in here, but I think it's going to be a great addition. Hope you all enjoyed the update. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with another one for some Noki builds, to show off some Noki builds, as well as hopefully an update on the surface grinder. So if there's something specific you want to see, I'm trying to do some more videos other than just updates as far as, you know, processes in the shop and stuff. It is a little hard to set up the camera, try to record stuff and everything, but I'm working on trying to be better at doing that to show you guys how I operate and how I make these knives. And so if there's something specific you want to see, leave a comment, let me know, whether it's, you know, a certain, you know, technique that I do for hand sanding, or it's how I set up the machine for something, you know, whatever it is, just let me know in the comments, and I'll work on getting an update for you. So thanks again. Hope you all enjoyed it.